live. We are live. Okay. So let me know if there's anyone. Actually, you know what? I'm going to open it on another device to make sure. I'll open on YouTube and make sure that we are live on YouTube. We are live.
Yay!
We're live on Rose's channel.
All
I can't
right.
I can't see mine, but I'm sure we are live on mine. But anyway, we will go with the flow. So I'm actually going to record it because
Yep.
I just feel like maybe it's a good idea to record. I don't know. These days, everything disappearing. So, welcome. We are out on YouTube land. So, welcome everyone. We have some of our basic Foundations of Card Making group members here. We haven't had much time to chat with you guys, but make sure you hang around after we finish the video and we will chat. Are you all ready to craft? Let me know.
Oh,
Are you all
lots.
ready to craft?
Absolutely. I
Are you
am.
crafting along? Jenny, Lynn, Daryl, are you crafting along with us?
No, watching.
Just
No,
watching and going to craft later.
Yep.
I'm crafting.
Daryl's crafting. Look at, he hasn't let the team down. He's in the craft room and crafting. So that's awesome. All right. So we are out on YouTube. So we come together, Rose Ward and myself come together. We will actually spotlight Rose and I at the moment so that the members can feel a little bit more comfortable. We've got Rose spotlighted, add spotlight. There we go. There's Rose and I. So welcome to our basic Foundations of Card Making craft along session that we do on the last, for me, the last Friday of the month, and for Rose, it's the last Thursday of the month. So our awesome members have been having a great time in our group again this month, and we are here to craft and show how we're using our template guide to be able to create cards and hopefully teaching everybody how to be able to create a card, no matter whether it's made in Australia or whether it's made in America. And I think for one thing that I think a lot of people need to be able to train themselves is to forget what country that card is made in. That's the one thing I think you need to do. Totally forget what card that country is made in, because when you forget what country that card is made in and you start saying, they've got a card base, they've got the first layer, they've got the second layer, you create with your card bases and your layers and you recreate the card. So it's a training of our brain to stop thinking, but we need that American size. How is that going to be in Australia, or vice versa? That Australian size, how are we going to do that in America? Because it is not going to work with our card size, our actual card stock sizes. It's not going to work. So you're going to waste a lot of card stock if you're trying to make American ones with our Australian card stock, and vice versa. You're going to waste card stock if you're trying to make our Australian ones with the American size card stock. So one thing that we want everybody out of this basic Foundations of Card Making group to realize is forget about what country the card is made in. That's all I can say, because it's the same thing that people keep saying to me, and I keep saying, if you forget where the card was made and just use your card bases and your layers, it will work. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, so we have done some fun stuff this month. We have taught all of our basic Foundations of Card Making members all about adhesives. Now, let me know, all of the foundation people that are in the Zoom call, you're actually on mute, but let me know, what were your thoughts about the adhesive video that we did? Was there something that you learnt from that, from Rose's video and from my video, that that you didn't know? So chime in, people. Don't be scared to talk. You got to unmute yourself. Jenny?
Well, it was beautiful. I really enjoyed both videos.
Yep.
I got a little from both.
Yep.
And it reminded me that, hey, I've got that in my stash. I haven't used it.
Awesome. Awesome.
And especially the very fine tipped glue.
Yes, the fine tip glue.
I was heavy-handed with that when I used it, so I put it back in the box. So now it's coming back out. It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I've actually printed out the information you did.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad. Yeah, I figured let me put that together. You can print it out, keep it as a guide. So you can always go back and look at our videos because, what I use might not be what Donna uses. And I think you
Yeah.
saw that.
That's right.
know,
Yeah.
it's everybody has their own personal preference.
Mm.
And it's funny you said that about the fine tip glue because I forget about that sometimes. And when I pulled it back out, I was like, oh yeah, I need to start using this again because I used to use that all the time.
Yeah.
The only thing with that is to always remember to put that pin back in it because once that nozzle gets, gunked
Yeah.
up with the glue, it's very, very hard to. I've
And
bent quite a
I'm
few.
going to confess something here. I have purchased 2 of them, and I have glued up that nozzle both times on both ones. So I actually don't use it, and hence why you never see me use it, because I don't use it. But you know what? I may give it a 3rd try, and I might see if I could physically do the right thing. But twice. But you know what? No one guided me, so I didn't know. So therefore I made the mistakes that probably a lot of other people have made as well. So
And I think that's, you start thinking like Tombow or the liquid glue, you can use that for a while and leave it open and it's okay. And Donna, I'll be honest, probably my first 2 of that fine tip glue, I did the same thing. And then I was like, oh, I know
see,
why. You have to
confessions of
close
us
it up every
stampers.
time. It's amazing. It's like 2 seconds and it's clogged up. So, and I know it frustrated a lot of people. So what you have to remember is when you use it, just put that pin back in it right away.
Yeah.
And it really does work well with the very fine, small things, letters. If you don't have the adhesive sheets,
Yeah.
that fine tip glue is perfect for those little letters or numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out. We've got a couple of people in our basic foundations of card making that are actually over on YouTube and are watching live on YouTube. Guys, you can come in the YouTube link. Sorry, the Zoom link is in your February Facebook group. It's actually pinned to the featured section. You also received, for my people here in Australia, you received an email the other day with the Zoom link. So if you want to come and hang out with us and chat with us, because you're going to miss the social chatter afterwards if you're not in the Zoom call. So I can see I've got a couple of members here that are actually in our group. So please make sure you jump on that Zoom link and join the Zoom call, because that's what it's all about, the fun part.
Yes, and if there's any of the stampers from the US, I also emailed it to you and sent it. It was in the group, but I also emailed it to you. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to want to do the same thing Donna just said, to hop on the Zoom so that you can speak to us directly.
All right.
And chat
so
later.
Rose is very organized, and Rose has gone ahead and got herself
I don't know about
started,
that.
and I'm not organized. So you know me, I fly by the seat of my pants. And so I've decided Rose can go first this morning because she's already sorted, and I hopefully some inspiration is going to come to me, and I'm going to go, okay, I might do a card like this, or I might be sitting in the background panicking, thinking, what am I going to make?
Nah, you'll be fine. So one thing, Donna, do we want to wait till the end to tell them some of the goodies that they're going to get next month?
So.
Yeah, I think so. Let's make them wait.
I think so.
I know I hate to wait for anything.
It's all in the element of the anticipation, isn't it? Yeah. So we're going to give you a little bit of a rundown of what is going to be included in your next month's kit. So if you haven't
so you're going to want to stay tuned.
Yeah, you may want to start to jump in and get in on this group, because it's a really awesome group. All right, I'm going to remove myself, and I'm also going to spotlight your down over your head. Yes, I'm getting there, Rose. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, you know what's funny? I'm sitting here looking this way because I'm crafting, but I for some reason want to look this way. Anyway, it's all good. All right, so for my card, remember the card templates that we have in both sizes. And again, remember Donna said, forget my size.
No.
You'd be doing it in the Australian measurements. So last month, I cut this in half lengthwise. And so I have this piece left over for the card today. I'm going to go in at the 5.5 mark, and I'm going to score that. And I love Donna's little tip the last time about how she scores her cards together. And let's see, let me get my bone folder. Okay, so this is your card base of the thick white. Now you're going to grab your black template using that size, and we're going to cut one of these cards up again to that size. Oh, nope, I changed that. I'm sorry. Let me back up. You're going to take your other piece of regular basic white that we had last month that we cut into 4s. So this should already be cut to the size you want. But if it's not, you want it to that black template size. So I'm just going to make sure that it is the black template size, and it is. So for those of you who are just joining in, the very first class that we did, we made templates with all our measurements. Well, not all the measurements, but a good portion of them to get started. So I'm going to take this one first. And most of you got the Night of Navy ink spot. I'm going to use my regular stamp pad. And of course, we are using, we got a technique for you next month too, by the way. And we're using the With You in Mind, and you all got that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own background first. So, and I'm cheating. As you can see, I have my happy birthday because you got the block. And if you put the stamps this way, it fits on that block. But you can see I got that little cupcake on the other end, on the other side. Sometimes I do that when I start running out of blocks. I know that sounds crazy because I probably have 150 blocks, but I do run out. So I'm going to tap that in there. And I am going to get my mat because it is photopolymer. And I'm going to create a background. Now I inked it up once. And I'm just going to keep going like this. So I don't have to re-ink it each time. I think I'll do this one on this side. I just want, and that didn't come out, but that's fine because I'm making a background and you're not even going to see some of it. I'm going to take the little cupcake. See how I twisted it around? Now I have the cupcake on that side. So we'll put that little cupcake right there. Again, I'm not going to see some of this. I've just decided that just throwing a few cupcakes in here to see which ones will show. Okay, we're going to put this over here where I've already got ink on my hands. So now I'm going to take that card base and we're going to do a little cutting again based on the template. First, I'm going to cut this down to that black template. And we might mention that we're not saying the measurements because that's part of the class that the group that's privy to them. Okay, so now that I've cut that down, I need to cut it down one more time to our, and I'll tell you what color it is. I think this is, my lights are on here, so I think it's the, looks like the Melon Mambo. Sometimes it's hard for me to see, excuse me, the colors under these lights. And that's one of the reasons why it's a little dark. I'm dark, but this is light because of my lights here. Just thought I'd mention that. So now I'm going to take this piece. And I am going to take that happy birthday again. Inking it up over here. I'm going to put happy birthday right at the top. I'm going to hold it for a minute. I'm going to bring this back in. And now I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. I'm using my take your pick tool. Best thing since sliced bread. And then we're just going to flick those off. Donna, remember when I was first telling you about flicking those pieces off? Okay. I'm going to add this almost to the top so you can still see my background.
I forgot I was on mute. I was saying, I know, it changed my
Yeah,
mind.
Donna, you took off. You just took off. Now I'm going to go into my ephemera pack. And you may not have all of these left, but you can use whatever ones you do have left to recreate this card in a different way. And I'm going to tell you that in a second. So I'm going to grab this cake, and I'm actually going to put the cake right down here. So I am going to add some more dimensionals there. I'm really stingy when it comes to my dimensionals. I know I see people put like 7 or 8 on a piece of paper, and I'm like, it's too many. We're just going to add 3. And I'm going to put my cake right down here. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do actually cheat tonight because I want to use these candles. And we really haven't gotten into coloring with markers or blends, but these candles need color. So I am going to bring in my Stampin' Write markers. We will get into blends and markers and what works best for what project you're doing. And again, I think that is also a preference, just like the adhesives. It's whatever you feel comfortable using. I know what my favorite one is. Notice I didn't tell you. Now, actually, again, the markers work for certain things. The blends work for other things. And that is all to come. So let's just grab this. And you see one is plenty on here. And I'm just going to tuck that right there. So now what I have is a background made with those stamps. I'm going to bring in my card base. And yeah, you guessed it. You know me. I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals too. So I really urge everyone, even if you've been stamping for a while, because we are really getting into stamping and techniques now. So I think you would all love what we're going to be doing. And please join us. Okay. So now I have the happy birthday. I have my cake. I have some dimension here. What I was saying, let me just show you. Let's say you don't have the cake left in your packet. I'm going to show you a couple quick little tricks here. You could do the same thing, but put the balloons there. Make believe the cake's not there. If you have, maybe you don't have those left, but you have some of the cupcakes. You could take that and just add 3 little cupcakes across where the cake would be. Make sense? So whatever you have left in your pack, you can still recreate the card. Now for the inside, I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to grab that. I have a second block here. And again, I did the same thing. I have the thinking of you here, but I have the heart on the other side. Bring in my mat. I'm trying not to get my fingers in this, which is easier said than done for me. I'm going to stamp the thinking of you. Hold it for a second so it really gets into the paper. And then on the flip side, I have that little heart. I really do that a lot. Like I said, using the different, I don't want it that dark though, I don't think. I'm going to stamp off. Maybe I will use it dark. I'm going to add that right there. Put that over here for a minute. So there I have a background with the happy birthday. Again, the dimensions, but you always want to remember your envelope. So I am going to take the heart first. Make sure I ink that up good. And then I'm going to grab that cupcake on the other side. Nothing saying we can't have 2 stamps on the envelope. And I am just going to put that on the corner here. Like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my envelope because it's like matching your shoes to your purse or pocketbook, whatever you call it. Your shoes have to match your purse. So your envelope has to match your card. And we're just going to add that one right there. So there I have a quick, easy, but pretty envelope to go with my card. Now, remember the cards, we will have the still shots on the group page when we're done. So I hope you enjoyed that quick little card using the templates to layer. And that is my card for tonight.
Well done, Rose. And you know, this morning when Rose and I jumped on and we were having a chat between the two of us together this morning, I said, do you think maybe we should stamp on an envelope? We both thought of the same thing at the same time. It's so freaky that we think the same way all the time.
Yes, it is. And I have to tell you, it's funny because every time you say when we were speaking this morning or talking this morning, I'm like, I didn't talk to you this morning. I forget it's your morning. It's nighttime here.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to change my video down to my desk, and you're probably going to see a heap of mess on my desk, but that's totally okay. Let's go. There we go. Okay. All right, so I was quickly trying to get in my head what I was going to do while Rose was making her card. So anyway, I have come up with an idea, and my thought process was also to stamping the background of my front layer to I'm not going to do happy birthday. I'm actually going to do a thinking of you card this morning. So and thank you on the inside. So we've seen a birthday card from Rose, so I thought let's do something a little bit different. So I'm just going to tell you I'm going to be using my black layer and my berry burst layer for the front layers. Now I've done those in, let me see, I've got one of my card bases that we've cut in half and I had some left over. So I've cut a black layer from my blue card base. Okay, so we've got a black layer there. I've cut a white layer from our basic white, and that's in the berry burst. So they're the 2 layers that we will be using here, is the black and the berry burst from our template. The other thing from the template was I wanted to cut some little smaller pieces as well. So I have used the Melon Mambo template and the Boho Blue template. Out of a leftover piece of the blue, I have cut my Melon Mambo layer out of that blue card base, and out of the pink card base, I've cut my Boho Blue. That is actually going to give me a sentiment layer for across the front where I'm going to put the thinking of you, and I'm going to stamp directly onto that card base. Now, I actually have this left over. Honestly, this was one of the things out of this ephemera pack that I absolutely loved. And I was like, you know what? I've been saving it and saving it. So I thought, you know, I'm going to use it today, but I'm going to use it wisely. So I'm actually going to pop it in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut this end off it and that end off it. And I'm still going to leave that middle portion for me to do something else. So I'm going to cut it at 3/4 of an inch. Now you have to be careful when you cut this. I'm hoping it's going to cut okay. It did. Okay, because it's a die cut piece and it's got all little pieces. So I'm going to turn it around again and I'm going to cut it at 3/4 of an inch. That's going to give me 2 pieces that I'm going to be able to slot in behind my sentiment layer. So I'm just going to slot it in there. Then this one's going to layer up over the top. I always like to do a dry run to see how this is going to look. So as I'm cutting my layers, I'm putting it together and just giving myself a bit of a dry run to see how it's going to look. So I'm going to have that one there and then another one here. So it's going to look like that spreads all the way down, but it doesn't. It's just two pieces. So that's where, and I've still got this piece left over. I can possibly cut it across this way if I wanted to, or I could even put it as a decorative piece coming out that you've got like the little edge bits as well. So it's super cute. So because I've cut it evenly, both sides now are exactly the same. So I may be able to use that in another card to come. All right, so I decided that seeing it as it was going to be a thinking of you card, and I'm using a couple of different colors. I know my people got all different colored ink spots because I wasn't like Rose that I could just choose a I think most people got Melon Mambo from me. And some other colors like basic gray, but it was all I had. So once again, I'm going to use my Pierce mat because we're using photopolymer stamps. So I'm going to use my Pierce mat to stamp. I'm going to stamp that in boho blue, thinking of you, in the middle of that. Now, some people like to use their grid paper to line things up. I'm not one for doing that. I physically just eyeball it. Okay, so I've got thinking of you on there. I'm going to bring in this one here, and I thought I might use maybe some, I'm thinking about the color I'm going to use, some bubble bath, I think. And I'm going to use the cute little heart. Now, another thing I like to do is I like to have a bit of a rough idea of where the hearts are going to sit. So I always like to keep doing dry runs. So I've got space up here and I've got space down here. So there's no point me stamping in the middle because I'm not going to see anything in the middle. So I'm actually just going to stamp. So I thought what I might do is do a bit of a diagonal look with the hearts coming through like so. And don't be scared to stamp off as well, like up in the corner there. Don't be scared to stamp off. So I've got some hearts coming out through there. I'm going to do some more coming down through here. Okay. And there we have a really cute background, and it takes just that stark white look off the background. Now I'm going to use my glue of choice, which is liquid glue. Everyone knows I love my Tombow. Now, another thing that I want to tell you, a lot of people probably don't realize this. Did everyone know that you can actually undo the bottom? And you can use the bottom of your Tombow. It has this nice little wedge bit with a little hole, and you can actually use your Tombow like that. I actually said that to a friend of mine the other day. She said, I didn't know you could take the bottom off the Tombow glue. So I was thinking, well, maybe there's a lot of people out there that don't know that. So I'm now going to, and once again, my Tombow doesn't want to work. It will work here in a minute. Now you're going to see the frustrations of Tombow.
Always keep a pin handy.
I was going to say my take a pick tool's going in there.
That'll work too.
And there you go. The glue's coming out everywhere there now, look. Okay, and I've got it on my finger, so I'm going to wipe it on there. All right, so we're going to adhere that layer onto our blue card base. How pretty does that bubble bath go with this gorgeous blue base? Pretty as. All right, so now the thing that I think for this, to attach this, I'm better off to attach it to the back of this piece here and then pop that piece on. So what I'm going to do is, you can do this one of two ways. You can do liquid glue here so you can wiggle it around. I'm actually going to do a strip of liquid glue. Whoa, and my glue's coming out like anything now. Anyway, I'm going to do a strip of liquid glue and I'm going to adhere that onto there. Now, what would be really, really handy right at this stage is to have my silicone craft sheet out. So I can sit this down on the silicone craft sheet and I'm not going to get glue everywhere. Can you see? I've got glue all over my finger. Gotta love it. All right. So I'm going to, I can wiggle that around and get it looking nice and even. It's looking quite good. So I'm going to whip that over again. I'm going to add a little bit more glue and hopefully it's not going to come out as quick this time. I didn't have it coming out and now it's flooding my project. Okay. And this time I'm actually just going to sit my piece. I so need to cut my fingernails. They're way too long for this. All right, I'm just going to sit my piece down here. Am I in screen? Yes, I am. Just sit it down there and press it down into there. Now, because we've actually got that on our silicone mat, we can move that around, and I'm going to be able to pick that up off my silicone mat. No problem whatsoever. So I'm just going to let that take hold there for a bit. I'm going to add some dimensionals onto the back of my thinking of you. And I'm going to pop that up onto that layer. Dimension is always a great thing to do with your cards. Just by popping up a layer, even my friend said to me the other day, what do you use dimensionals for? And sometimes I think, wow, really? You don't use dimensionals? Like, I use dimensionals. Who out there uses dimensionals on every card they do? Tell me that. Put your hand up, because I can honestly tell you, I don't know, Rose, do you use dimensionals on every card you do?
Absolutely.
Man,
Absolutely.
I could not live without my dimensionals.
Me either.
All right. So that is now going to pop up. Now, once again, I like to stick my pointer fingers underneath what I'm actually going to do. I hover above, see that I've got it looking nice and even where I want it to be, and then I push down with my thumbs and pull my pointer fingers out. So that's something that I do, especially when I'm trying to line something up with dimensionals on it. Now, I'm actually going to add dimensionals again to this layer because, I mean, I like things popped up. So I'm actually arranging them over the top of where I've glued that on, just for an extra bit of protection, that you're going to make sure that that little die cut piece is not going to move. So I'm adhering it onto the layer plus that die cut piece. And Rose's trick.
There you go.
There's dimensionals. Now, who's seen the post of the crafty cat proudly wearing a dimensional on his butt the other day? Theo came out into the kitchen and he was proudly wearing a dimensional on his butt. So, all right. So I'm going to then adhere that to that layer. Then I'm going to use my liquid glue and, oh, I better fold my card base first. I better get that out of the way. All right. So I'm using just a basic white thick card base cut to our normal card base size. I'm going to do the trick that we talked about the other day, that I'm going to put my card base in there. I'm going to butt my edge up against the top of my trimmer, pop it in, and then crease it and use a bone folder to crease that nicely. And there you go. I've got a perfect fold on my card base. Paper trimmer comes in very handy for getting those to line up properly. I know some people struggle with trying to get them to fold evenly.
I love that tip.
It's handmade, and honestly, if it doesn't line up totally perfectly, it's totally okay. Okay, so I'm now going to use, I've got that wiggle room with my liquid glue, so I normally like to pick it up and just wiggle it with my thumbs, get it to sit where I want it to sit, like that. Now, I'm actually not going to use the ephemera pack for the front. I'm quite happy. I mean, I would normally dress this up with obviously some bling. And you know me, I'm the bow lady from Bow Desert, so I would put a bow on it. But because this is more or less our basic card making, because it's a thinking of you, I really didn't think cakes or balloons were really going to go with what I was doing. All right, so now on the inside, I have my thank you. So I'm going to stamp, this is the basic black layer that we have from our template guide. So I've cut one of my card bases to that. I'm then going to grab my pierce mat. Once again, I have to keep remembering to do that. Pierce mat. And I'm going to stamp thank you in the middle of this beautiful pink layer. Then I'm going to grab my cute little heart with the bubble bath again, and we're going to add some of those hearts like what we had on the front, floating up at an angle. I can probably put one there as well. And we'll pop some here. And I mis-stamped that one. And maybe I can line it up with the photopolymer over the top, but you know, it's okay. It is handmade. All right, so we've got some cute little hearts happening there. We've got lots of room to be able to write. I'm now going to adhere that to the front. And of course, I'm going to bring in a envelope to be able to make this card match. So we have that. Now, I'm thinking, I don't know whether I want to do a blue envelope or a pink. What do we think? Blue envelope or pink? Blue looks
Pink.
pretty. Pink?
I think the pink.
Pink?
Let's see. Let's see next to the
What's the
pink.
vote? Tell me, what do you think? Pink or blue? I'm thinking I could possibly do blue hearts on the pink. That would change it up a little bit. We might do that. Let's do a couple of little blue hearts in the corner of the pink. I'll bring in that pierce mat again. Couple of little
And
blue.
the nice thing is you're doing a darker color, so you don't have to clean the stamp.
Exactly. And look, I mismatched it again. Oh,
Perfect.
I lined it up pretty good.
Yes, you did.
And we'll pop another couple in there. Like so. And we have a super cute little thinking of you card. So there you go. But using our adhesives, using our dimensionals, using our template guide, which is I can guarantee that the majority of the members in our basic foundations of card making are saying that that template guide is worth its weight in gold. And we have now got a beautiful thinking of you card and saying thank you on the inside using our products that we got this month. So I'll remove the spotlight now and I'll go back to up on my video. Whoops, I'll turn my video right off. I don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. And we might spotlight Rose and I.
Love
Okay,
the card, Donna.
there we go. Oh, what have I done? I've spotlighted the wrong thing.
Oh, spotlight yourself.
Remove that. I thought I had me, but it moved.
I'm going to take that right off. There
It
we go.
moved. There we go. Okay.
There
So
we go.
there is our craft together. I mean, it is super awesome to be able to come here once a month and hang out with all of our basic foundations of card making members, but to also bring it to you live here on our YouTube channel. So I hope for the people out in YouTube land that you totally enjoyed it. Now, Rose, will we start to tell people what they're going to get next month? What do you think?
Oh, definitely, because I know they're going to love it. They're going to love it.
So we have decided that for next month, we are going to give you a little sampling of some gorgeous designer series paper, some beautiful embellishments, some ribbon, and some cardstock to be able to coordinate with that. So it's a little bit of a sweet sampler taster. So we will still be stamping with our awesome stamp set, but we're now going to show you how we can do awesome things with designer series paper. And we're starting to get into some more exciting card making because we're adding more things. And this is what happens with basics of foundations of card making. You start from the ground and work your way up. So each time we are adding more and more. But there's many more things to come. What else did we talk about this morning, Rose, that we might start to implement?
Let's see. We've got the designer series paper, the embellishments, the ribbon coming next month, a little quick technique for next month. And then how about color samplers?
How about getting color
Samplers,
swatches?
everybody.
Yeah.
I know how everybody loves the color samplers of the cardstock, so you can see what goes with what. I mean, I don't know of any colors that don't go together for me. I find a way to use them, but the color coach or color sampler is the way to go when you're trying to figure out what colors you want to use with your stamps. And so that's coming up too.
And I think so we're going to slowly be rolling that out. So we're actually thinking about doing one color family per month. It won't be happening next month, but because we both Rose and I have a huge month happening next month. We have On Stage, which is our Stampin' Up event. So we are all traveling to go to On Stage, and I'm actually going to be away at the end of the month. I don't know. I've got to try and work out how we're going to do our last video because I'm going to be away, I think. Camping, and I won't have internet, so we will have to sort that out. But we are actually going to be rolling out these color swatches, and the color swatches are going to be able to, so that when we're talking about real red cardstock, or we're talking about cherry cobbler cardstock, or we're talking about blueberry bushel cardstock, you'll be able to go to these color swatches and you're going to know exactly what the color is. And I know I've had a lot of my members that have been saying to me, I want to know what the colors look like. I don't know how to determine the colors. I mean, Rose, when you see a piece of cardstock in front of you and someone says, what color is this? It's pretty easy, isn't it, for us that
Oh,
are working
absolutely.
with it? But for the
Absolutely.
people that haven't been working with our colored cardstock, they have no idea. When we say use the Pretty Peacock cardstock, they have no idea what Pretty Peacock is. You probably could have a roundabout guess. Peacock, you would think that beautiful dark emerald green. Well, that's what Pretty Peacock is. But so we're actually going to help you as we move along each month after. So starting in April, we will actually be rolling out those color swatches. So you'll get a color family each month, and it's going to be an interactive crafting session. We're going to craft and we're going to put it together so that you're going to know exactly where those bits of cardstock go on that color swatch template that we're going to do. So that's exciting.
Yes, it is. And I think also when it comes to the colors, and I'm told this all the time when you do the videos or you do a class and you show them the color and they go, that doesn't look like it did in the book. Oh my God, that's gorgeous. I thought that, so I think you really have to see it up close and personal, each color, to really get the idea of what color it is. Because let's face it, it doesn't look the same in catalogs. Sometimes, to me, sometimes it doesn't even look the same when we're doing a video
On a video.
like before, because you've got the lights on it. Sometimes it helps it, and somebody will say, oh wow, I love that color, I didn't think I was going to like it. Or sometimes you can't really tell. So there's nothing like seeing it in person, and you're going to love having all those colors at the end of this so that you can tell what color works with what.
Now I will I'm not sure whether it's in the description of this video, whether we have the registration link for you to join our basic foundations of card making. If you're out there on YouTube land and you want to be a part of it, we do have an international just the content, the recorded content only. So if you wanted to do that, reach out to either Rose or myself. So if you wanted to join, if it's not in the description of this video, I will go over and pop it into the description of the video. If not, check out on our business pages. But we will definitely, I'm wondering whether I can drop the link in here for mine. I'm wondering whether I can drop that.
Donna's my tech guru. I wouldn't touch it.
Can you drop a link into the comments, Rose, for your registration? Because I know I can find my link. I can drop it into the comments for my
Let me
link.
see if I can. I might not be able to, but I will add it when we're done. So it will be there, but let me just see if I have it here.
Oh, here we go. Here's oh no, it's saying to subscribe via PayPal. Can't do that.
Okay, let's see if I can grab this. I'm not sure that I can do it from my phone to my.
And we can't do yours, Rose, because yours is actually a PayPal link, and we can't put that on YouTube. They won't allow.
Oh, that's right. I'll put my link on the page when we're done on the YouTube video.
I've just popped a link there in the comments. I'm hoping that showed up on YouTube. But we will put it in the description of the video. Oh, there you go, Rose. Yours
Is
yeah,
it there?
I think that's worked. Or is that just me? I think it's just
That
me.
might just be you. Well, I'll double check it when we get off.
Okay, so
it is on my other videos. If you go down, I have it on all my other
it's
YouTube
it's always on mine as well.
But I will add it to this one.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to YouTube land. So we're going to say goodbye to those people, and then we're going to hang out with the Basic Foundation members here. So stay tuned, stay here, don't leave.